Welcome to Wagon Train Wednesdays, presented by the Archway.
Grenville Dodge was born in Danvers, Massachusetts in 1831. When he was just 14 years old, he was working at a neighbor's farm where he met the surveyor and civil engineer Frederick Lander. Dodge told Lander about his interest in becoming an engineer. Lander encouraged him and gave him the chance to gain some practical experience when he asked Dodge to help him survey a new railroad spur in the nearby town of Wenham. After he graduated from Norwich Military College with degrees in engineering and military tactics in 1851, Dodge announced that he was going away out west to Chicago, and his career on the railroad began. Dodge first settled in Peru, Illinois, where he was given the job of plotting 400 miles for the construction of the Rock Island Railroad. He later moved to Council Bluffs, Iowa, where he established a reputation as an energetic railroad developer and a skillful politician. In 1859, Illinois lawyer and future President Abraham Lincoln visited Council Bluffs and met with Dodge to discuss the need to build a railroad line that would cross the continent. Dodge was encouraged by the discussion, but his dreams about the project were sadly interrupted when the Civil War began. During the war, Dodge joined the Union Army and distinguished himself by working quickly to organize troops and rebuilding damaged rail lines that were vital to the war effort. By the end of the war, he was promoted to the rank of Major General. After the Civil War, the military turned its attention to the West, and Dodge was asked to lead a campaign against the Plains Indians. The Native Americans were understandably combative and distrustful of the government, which had violated virtually every treaty it had made with them. In step with his commanders in Washington, Dodge had little sympathy for Native Americans who he considered an obstacle to the building of the railroad westward. In September of 1865, during his escape from an Indian war party in the Black Hills, Dodge followed a sloping ridge to the plains below. He quickly understood the importance of this ridge. It formed a pass through the mountains that would later be crucial to the construction of the Union Pacific Railway line across the country. During the war, Congress had passed the Pacific Railway Act that provided funds for construction of the Transcontinental Railroad, but progress had been slowed by the war effort. In 1866, when Dodge signed on as the chief engineer for the Union Pacific Railroad, the project was described as 40 miles of rusty rails. Between 1866 and 1869, Dodge and his men, mostly Irish immigrants and Civil War veterans, built close to 1,000 miles of track. And Dodge led the way. He and his survey crews mapped the terrain where new track would be laid before the railroad graders and work crews arrived. It was up to Dodge to find a way to overcome every obstacle on the route. The Transcontinental Railroad was completed with the Golden Spike ceremony on May 10, 1869. But the most famous photograph of the occasion is not the photo of the dignitaries who attended the event or of the railroad officials who actually hammered the spike into place. The photo of the event that we all know is the photo that shows many of the everyday workers celebrating their accomplishments or maybe just the end of their back-breaking work. The gentlemen shaking hands in the photo are the two chief engineers whose work in the field made the completion of the railroad possible. Samuel S. Montague, the engineer for the Central Pacific Railroad, is on the left, and Grenville Dodge, who is just 38 years old at the time, is on the right. Learn more about Grenville Dodge and the building of the Transcontinental Railroad. Find these books online or at your local library. Full Steam Ahead, The Race to Build the Transcontinental Railroad by Rhoda Blumberg, and Nothing Like It in the World, The Men Who Built the Transcontinental Railroad, 1863 to 1869, by Stephen Ambrose.
Be sure to follow the Archway's Facebook page and check back next Wednesday for another episode of Wagon Train Wednesdays.